Hello, my name is Katidra Jones. The course is the warm up and stretch. It's the final exam video presentation. I'm going to be talking about warm up and stretching, and then I'm going to give 3 examples of Bible verses about staying healthy. This is new for me about warm ups, but what warm up means is to raise the body temperature and muscle temperature, which is very new because I only knew about was like stretching. I always thought warm up and stretching was like the same, but it isn't. Why is it important? Warm up help keeps you from injury, and it prepares you for dance, which is understanding because same thing for sports. You tend, if you don't exercise properly or warm up, you tend to hurt something on your body. Here's some examples, which is passive, called passive warm up, which is to raise your body temperature, was dressing in extra layers. Like me, maybe wearing this hoodie, could be like a hoodie that I have on to stay warm, to help my body temperature. Especially too, because where I work outside on the ramp, so this hoodie actually helps a lot, even if I'm not doing anything when I first get there. But by me wearing this layer, it actually keeps my temperature warm before I head outside to start, lifting bags or boxes or anything. That keeps me from getting injured. So I understand now why we should have a warm up. It's keeping your temperature at a level, because if you, same thing as like you stay cold, it kind of might cause your body to lock up, something like that, which happened to me before. A warm room, staying in a warm area, that's another thing which was new for me, but I'm glad I know now. Just like my apartment is warm, so I can actually get up and, if I want to, create a dance or anything, my body is prepared for it, and it's actually warm, especially with the extra layers with the jacket. That's another thing. Drinking hot, like warm temperature drinks, that's another thing. That's one thing I can say that helps as well. I'm not a big fan of warm water, but I know if it's gonna help me in the long run, I'm gonna drink it. Hot tea, that's another one. I drink a lot of Chinese or like Asian hot tea, which is good. It actually helps your muscles a lot too. But those are like some exercise I could say warm up exercises, but it's not pretty much your warm up like passive. You're really not doing a lot of moving. It's just keeping your temperature at a certain level. I'm gonna get to the muscles. I'm gonna do it for both. Define stretching. Stretching is the act of extending the body and limbs to a maximum point of resistance. Why is it important? It keeps your muscles from being tight. It keeps it from being tense, which actually releases the tense that you might have in your body. And like stress, which is understandable because especially when you get a massage, a lot of massage therapists can see when you tense. They can tell when you tense. That's why they might say you got a lot of tension. Like, what are you stressing about? So it relieves a lot of stress that you may have in your muscles before you go out there. The last thing you need to go out there and you have stress and it don't go as planned. Because I actually had this happen to me before, where we was actually getting ready for the Passover, and we were doing a play. It was like a skit, but we also had to do we had to minister as well and dance that time. And while the choir was out rehearsing, we were actually, well, some people was already exercising and stretching. For me, being hard headed, I didn't do that. Came in straight in, thinking that I was going to go straight and minister, and it didn't work that way. Went out there trying to do a move, and then all of a sudden my calves locked up on me, and it hurt so bad to the point that I had so much pain that I couldn't really rehearse that day. So now I understand that anytime it's best to make sure that you stretch your muscles. It's so important because you don't want anything like that to happen, to end up with a cramp in any parts of your body. But for both, for like warm up and stretching like muscles, I would say your calves, your hamstrings will be the muscles, and your shoulders or your back. That's another thing too, stretching and doing warm-ups with your back. But I would say wrist. Your wrist could be one too, because we tend to use our hands a lot, especially if you are a flag person, you use your hands. And that's another muscle I would say stretch, is your wrist and your hands. The last thing you need is when you're twirling a flag or any kind of object you're using and it hurts your wrist, and your wrist hasn't been stretched or warm up. But that would be something for it's like your hands, like your wrist. It's exercising, doing certain movements with your hands or something like that. I would say another muscles for both of them would be your calves. That's another I say an exercise or warm up example that I would use is your calves, because maybe stretching with your legs to keep it from, like what I said, I had a cramp because like not drinking. I actually had something cold too, but not drinking like hot tea. That's another thing for the warm up. It would help your legs and your muscles as well, keep it from locking up. And that's what happened to me. I actually drunk something cold too, and I remember that. That's one of the reasons thing is your calves and your hamstrings. Keep it, drink warm tea or water or whatever to help loosens those muscles in your legs. Same with your back for both stretching or warm up. Take care of your back, your spine, because especially if you have to, some people who you might have to do a back bend in your dance, you might have to do a back flip, who knows, taking care of your spine, doing a stretch with your back, bending over or something, just something to help you with your back stretching. But yeah, those are I would say the muscles that to use would be like your back, your shoulders, your hamstrings, your calves, and I would say add another one would be your wrists, your muscles or your bones that's in your wrist part, because I know a lot of people tend to use a lot of objects in their ministry. Yeah, so that would be because where we minister, we used a lot of flags, so or like certain objects, tambourines, or like that. So exercising your wrist would be one. But here are some 3 scriptures I'm going to give. The first one is 1 Corinthians 6:19 through 20. Okay, and it says, "Or do you not know that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit within you, whom you have from God? You are not your own, for you were bought with a price. So glorify God in your body." Then the next one would be 1 Corinthians 10:31. Whether you eat or drink or whatever you do all to the glory of God. And then the third one is 3 John 1 and 2. Chapter 1, verse 2. "Beloved, I pray that all may go well with you, and that you may be in good health as it goes well with your soul." And this is from the English Standard Version. Those are my 3 scriptures that for being healthy and taking care of your body, But yeah, just taking care of your body, wearing the right clothing, and eating the right foods, staying healthy. It's going to help you in the long run when you have to minister.